Are you sick of getting outplayed in Warzone?
That guy's gotta be.
In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a high kill win on Rebirth Island, and we're going to showcase a skill that you're probably not using. I'm going to show you how to mix awareness and some general game sense and turn it into a high IQ prediction. This strategy is going to require you to use self-control and forces you to expand your power play positioning. This strategy is what will put your enemies in a blender. You keep landing down here and you're embarrassing yourself. Make sure you stay to the end of today's breakdown because this endgame is spicy. In today's situational report, we are going to deep dive a tactic that makes high kill games easy. So today we're going to talk about predictive positioning, and what that means is we need to think about what player behavior we can learn from and how we can use our experience in game to figure out what players need to do and learn how to use it against them. I am going to be pausing quite a bit in today's video. I have had a lot of questions regarding decision-making and how to predict player behavior. So I'm going to do my best to demonstrate what I'm thinking while I'm making these decisions and how I'm trying to figure out what players are going to do. I also recommend that you use headphones for today's video because there are a lot of audio cues that I want you guys to hear the full effect of. So we've knocked one as they've flown in and taken some mediocre shots with the ground loot on their teammate that just flew in. And we're tracking them to the left as they move around this tent. Something that's important to note is they're going to generally move in the same direction that they're going. More experienced players will use cover to blind their movement and juke back out an ego chow. Based on the current behavior right now, they are running. So I'm maximizing on their panic. And I'm chasing them down, breaking them along the way, pre-firing on the opening, and continuing to hit shots. Now, because I don't know what's over here, and I haven't seen any other teammates playing a little bit more cautiously, and we're moving along the wall just in case that there is another team to third party. I move back out and I catch them trying to climb onto the roof. Pushing enemies aggressively is fine as long as you keep your distance and you make sure that you have an appropriate cover in case you get third-partied by another team or you come across one of their ghosted teammates. This is a very important piece of information right here. We have two loadouts right outside control, and we have red dots all over the minimap where our teammates are at from the beginning of the game. That means that any player from those two teams that dies is likely going to visit, which is a potential of up to 8 enemies coming in and out of control as they die now that their loadout's there. Our loadout is all the way over by factory for some reason. So we're going to start pushing our way towards control and looking at the UAV and start to build a tactical game plan. But we're also listening for overhead audio cues and players on the ground. We catch one coming in, and this is something that I think is very, very common as you see people fly into the loadout and they immediately take cover behind it. They're getting their loadout, but there's a tendency to push up super close right on top of them. And you'll see here, I go to swing in using the hip fire tactic, landing a couple shots, but I'm backing off and I'm giving the firefight room to breathe. You don't need to be that close. You're making it so much easier for him to break my camera, peppering them a little bit, and then breaking the camera as I come around the corner after I've taken a few more hits of damage off of them. Now we're going to move over to our loadout here at factory, but I catch an enemy player right off the corner of the roof here. So I give it time. I wait for them to see what they're going to do. They climb up to the roof and I move down here, but I don't go straight to the loadout because I don't know if they saw me or not. They did. I'm going to shoot, knock them completely. And then really important piece of information here. I see their loadout next to mine and they are not in the immediate vicinity of it. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the loadout, and I'm going to keep in mind they're on the roof and they're probably going to react to their teammate dying because their teammate is likely going to tell them that I'm at the loadout. So I'm going to change my position immediately, react to the most probable place that they're going to push me from. Because they had up arrows, I'm immediately retreating back to the same position, letting them look down at the loadout where I just was, and I'm assuming that the call out went to, and then I'm waiting for their reaction. And like clockwork, they have showed up to fight and avenge that exact play. Notice we still have an up arrow on the minimap, which means there is another guy on that roof. So we're able to hit exact shots on them and thirst the kill. Once again, we're changing our position. So I'm going to fall back into this building, reload my weapon, and then try and engage from another side. No visual. He's on the backside of the peak. I'm looking at the scaffolding to make sure he has not jumped down. In the meantime, as I pushed out, I've seen a new fly-in, which is an addition to that one red dot. I don't have an angle here. Random knocks him. I move around to the opposite side. We talked about angles a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to beat a dead horse. If you're not being proactive about holding that zone, he could have slid down the roof and down into the trench and gotten rezzed by his teammates, or over here back on the backside, and then they could have rezzed and team fired us. So I'm maintaining the control of this angle for anybody that wants to come along the ridge line on the backside of cover and either res or return fire on my two teammates in blue house. We're able to thirst. We get fresh pings, down arrow this time. That means they are on the buy station. I'm going to take their power position from them and hold their loadout from above. Immediately reacting to their fly-in, we break that enemy, but we're getting a very important piece of information here. This is the directional fire indicator, and I am taking fire from either Grandma's house or prison. So we're moving into slide. We don't have a visual yet. We're backing off, and we are putting up cover in the same direction of that indicator. We are at the 10 o'clock position, and so is our cover. We're going to move farther down the roof line so that we can plate and then hold any reaction that is coming up from the steps. Remember, we had a down arrow on the buy station, so I am waiting for that player to avenge the fly-in or possibly come up the ladder here on the right-hand side. From my 12 o'clock, but much higher, and the top of my scope is actually blocking that sight line. So I'm going to disengage. I'm able to put a few shots on him, break him, get him to not look at us anymore, and I realize I need plates. So I'm going to go back to the loot pile here where all the enemies were before I leave this section, and I'm going to get the valuables that I need and then replate up before I cross the street. In the meantime, I catch an audio cue of the player coming back in for their loadout again. He really wants this thing, and you're going to see this a lot in quads especially, and I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't matter how low or high skill player they are. They will oversell for this loadout. This is the box that they just have to have. So in their mind, the best thing to do is to join their teammate, who is still in the bottom of factory, by the way. We have no indication of them leaving. And we're going to take the high ground, not jump down, and we're going to knock them and thirst them. We're going to get 2 fresh confirmations. There's actually 2 down there. So I'm reassessing. The information that I have is that I am above 2 enemies. My teammates have already moved into zone. I don't see the guy on the top of prison, but I need to get these plates in. So I'm going to put the plates in, hit the box, and I'm looking for these guys to cross. Now, this is why I stayed here so long, is this particular angle is the best one to catch them on the crossover. I had the information all along that they were down there. We've been fighting them consistently over and over again, and I heard them coming up the steps. Good target acquisition, good tracking, and use of the meta weapon. I knock one. I don't have information on him. I have the information in this firefight, and I'm using my position to take players out effectively. I'm getting new information here on his teammate who is still on the edge of factory. I'm looking for him. I'm grabbing a gas mask and I'm holding him. I actually don't, I'll be honest with you guys, I did not see him right here. I was looking, thought maybe I missed him. He takes a pop shot at me. I pull back, realized that he's still on the roof because I was watching the tracer round, grab myself some plates. I still have ample time. Again, I'm maximizing this angle, this long angle. Before I even saw him launch, I was making sure he didn't already do it while he had me cracked. That would have been the best time for him to move. He should have cracked me. And this is where his teammate decides that he's going to call out that I'm definitely hacking. I decide that I'm going to let him know that they need to get better at the game. So now that we have taken care of that enemy, I'm still looking at this narrow strip, and this circle clear, this is my favorite path to be in. When I'm just tired of full sending control and getting stacked on by multiple players inside a prison and all these hot zones, you can take this outer bullseye and really work on your strategic positioning, which is where you're holding that lane because you're in zone with plates, with a gas mask. Your team's in there fighting it out. They're definitely having a completely different fight, but you're getting all of this information as they come in, and you're starting to build that framework of where your next fight is going to be. Now, I'm looking at these players flying in, and a good, safe entry into prison is usually showers. This is immediately logged in my brain that these guys are coming here. What I decide to do is just see what else is possibly coming up this lane. Then yellow calls in an advanced UAV, which one would have been enough. That's all I needed was to get confirmation as there was still a player down here. They are all the way in the bottom. So I'm going to take the same long line of sight and I'm going to wait because this is a free kill. He has to come out of here in some fashion. He's either going to come up the dirt road here or he's going to cut across and go up the ramp. And then I'm also seeing a second arrow there. Catch him out in the open, completely knock him, and his teammate flies in. Lose him in the bush for a second, and I'm able to take him out. Then I take my high ground. Now I want to catch this guy trying to mantle the wall. So I get close, and I see him juke right. For some reason, goes back down.
Stop landing low ground, and you won't be calling people a hacker. You keep landing down here, and you're embarrassing yourself.
I decide to pass out some free advice that they need to move to higher ground. There is absolutely no reason to keep landing down there over and over again. They should have reset somewhere else. At that point, I've spent enough time outside the zone and I'm starting to rework that way. Now I see that there are players up on the top corner of the map, which means that they're going to be coming into prison. So I need to make a decision. I'm either going to go back into the control/stronghold players. I do that fight often and I do like it, but sometimes I want to give some variety. I really want the information from what's going on in showers. And I'm also getting some voice comms from the snake that there's
in the shower area. It's the stacker crew.
Perfect.
Quite a bit of stacking activity going on in showers, which means it's probably time I come over there to help. So again, I'm monitoring that UAV. Snake got killed in showers, and I can see on my level, I have 2 teammates in cafeteria. But based on the voice comm from Snake, they are entrenched in this little hallway here. And I can see he's not joking. They have trophy systems up and they are ready to rock. So I take a few shots on him. He gets some better shots on me. I back off the fight because if you notice right here on the side, Snake just came back, pink went down, and now yellow is taking fire as well. So we don't want to over push that room. We're pushing 2 different teams at the same time, and I'm getting multiple dots on my level right here. Again, I didn't even realize that there was a loadout here. It was a pretty good presumption, seeing as all the fly-in activity was right on here. I'm going to take this kill. It's free. Absolutely free. All 3 of the teammates are in a straight line, one right below me and the other 2 down in showers and possibly tunnel. All 3 of his team. So I'm going to continue to hold my position back away from this fight because we have 1 team here and 1 team at the base. So if I start re-engaging here, not only could I get swarmed by the 3 of them, these guys are down and they're ready to swing on this direction over here. So what I need to do is start isolating these enemies because I'm still very much alone. Snake is behind me in the gas. He's got himself his loadout from Grandma's. So we're going to start to work together now from the center. I'm going to bait shots. I do this a lot, and this is a very easy way to control your fight. You can hold this doorway and get those enemies to come this direction. You can tell they're trying to do something. Snake's continuing to play with his food down here.
Wants to see a magic trick? You're burning.
This is right above that staircase. So the staircase goes up and then you can jump up and then go straight into cafeteria. So it doesn't look like they're close to that fight, but they are right on top of these guys. And I'm trying to get a clear line of sight into the showers all the way from here while looking in the general vicinity because I am trying to predict that these guys that I saw at the end of prison or water tower are going to try and swing around and push. This is another exit to cafeteria that could lead to a free kill if they are jumping out to try and escape from either Snake or Yellow. Not seeing anybody on the outside edge, so it's time to recirculate the push, get back inside. We're all in the same room, and we're going to start to work on these teams inside together. Callouts for the end of cafeteria. I'm looking for the sniper, and I'm getting a red dot on the minimap. He is on the guard wall, which means that he is likely already planning to control the top of prison, which means we need to think about who is still in the prison as well as players that are on the outside. This is a very heavily contested buy station, so I want to start to pick those guys apart. Meanwhile, my team's going upstairs. I get visual confirmation on the guy that was on my mini-map. I wait for my shot. I get enough to drop him, and then I'm looking for any of his teammates. I don't get him resurgence ping because I'm not able to thirst, but I'm looking for reaction.
Reverse.
Meanwhile, I cannot oversell my position to go get that thirst. I'm getting scaffolding audio cues. And as soon as I go to engage the scaffolding, I also get visual confirmation of this corner. This corner is a huge power position for over everyone. This player right here, if he's not on the same team of scaffold, he can shoot scaffold, he can shoot pink, he can hit me, he can hit anybody coming out of showers, and he can even thirst my kill or the team that's coming through from industry. So this is the power position corner on this side of prison. We need to take that very seriously, and we're going to engage from cover and try and shoot through the plywood on this enemy that we saw here. He's stimming in the gas. We knock him and then slide away and have to stim because we're getting hit from the back. Lo and behold, is the guy that I knocked but was not able to thirst from the backside of the wall over here. Luckily, yellow comes in with the clutch, takes care of the enemy, and then finishes off my self-revive. Now, what's my next threat level? If you notice the position, Snake and I generally play on opposite sides of each other. Random has no idea what we're doing, but we are on opposing corners of that circle. So we are pinching the top corner power position of that roof line. We need to kill him first and then retake this top line of the circle, which is our next power position. You have to take bites. We don't want to re-engage and push out into the open and then let prison shoot us in the back. I don't even actually know how many guys are up there. We know at least one, probably two, because I was not able to look at my mini-map because I was getting shot at by Butthead, pun intended. So hitting plates, I'm peeking back out to see if they're looking down at me. Of course they are. Confirming with the Snake that we're ready to pinch. Looking at the roof line, closing the gap. I want to eliminate their ability to see me while also tracking anybody that's on this lower shower line. It is very important that if any player had jumped down and got in and was able to hold me, if I'm looking straight up and not looking at that, Snake and I are both vulnerable to that. So I'm clearing that outside edge, seeing the fly in as they go down towards the ship. I'm also getting a ping on the end of tunnel, which is a very hot endgame position for this zone anyway, because it's lots and lots of cover. What that means is we have to squeeze quickly and not overexpose this railing. Soon as we go to shoot prison, the guys at tunnel or the guys that are farther on down the zone, we have 5 other teams in this lobby, are going to want to take care of the tallest position first. It's the easiest one to shoot at. So we're very careful. We're coming to the edge. He breaks his legs, and then I have another guy flying in here. Snake's able to shoot him while I'm thirsting, and I'm shooting the guy that dropped next to Snake. I'm going to play that back.
Oh.
Guy drops in, waste him, get flown at. Snake drops him. I drop the guy next to Snake. This is the next level form of predictive positioning, pinching you need to start to work with your team. We didn't speak a word about that. We were just reacting to the opposite triangle. He was pointed inward, I was pointed inward, and we were taking the closest target, wiping them out, and they had no idea that we were coordinating or that we were even together. We have 3 teams left. I'm looking at the tip of tunnel, and I also want a sight picture on this buy station. Explosions at tunnel, nobody visible, and boom, they're at the end of the steps. I'm going to give the call out that there's what I think to be 2 on the steps, and we get a visual and an audio cue for a buyback, which means a whole bunch of information. So we're pretty sure that there's a team in tunnel. That would be the safest place in this zone, to be honest. We have another team that's on the edge over by ship. Team 3 is at the buy station. We have the high ground, but we don't exactly have zone. We have a little sliver on the edge of the rock here. So I'm going to assess what I see over here, and my absolute favorite kill of this game is the guy that called me a hacker earlier, flies down right in front of me, gets clipped immediately. Have a good day, Toji. Now we're down to our final 2 teams. In this situation here, we always go back to our pie endgame scenario. If we're here
Yeah.
and we know there's one in tunnel and we had a visual over here, the most logical thing for them to do in this scenario is to wrap around the water. So I'm going to hold my slice of the pie. I start taking shots from a guy on the corner of truck. I call out the truck. We
And
get
the
the
truck.
circle slide. I move up to the edge. I am out of plates. Both of my teammates go down. No information. Don't see anybody other than the guy that I know is on the edge of the truck. I don't have plates. He already knows my position. What do we do next? Instincts tells me he's broken me and knocked two. He's going to be very, very impatient and he's going to push those downs. He wants his kills. And it's a good play. Except I'm patient and I'm able to take him out. Snake is able to self.
Ow.
And now I'm immediately addressing the threat of any players that snuck up around the outside of the ramp. What I'm not doing is giving away my position. I'm seeing pings. I'm checking those pings. I'm getting a tracer round up the gap. Found the ping. Lucky pre-aim. Hit the target. Help take him out. Stim. Communicate that they're pushing up the gap.
On the gap.
I get the call out that they come out of the tunnel top. I don't have a clear shot. I'm not going to give away my position. And I come up over here and I see that they're also coming up this position. Snake kills the first one and he's in the shed. So there's one guy on him pushing and I don't take the shot because I'm looking for the other two guys. And I hear the audio cue behind me. He has no idea that I'm here because I haven't moved a bunch. I haven't fired my gun. If I had fired my gun in those two scenarios, they would have known I was up here. They would have came up guns blazing and then been a 2v1 to take out the snake. Lost in the sauce, drop one, take the cover inside, try and reload the weapon. Still no plates. Snake takes care of the first one that's back by him. Communicate as I die on the tree.
On the tree.
And we win.
Nice clean comms, and Snake is able to thirst him for the win. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Guys, if you learned something in today's video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see Snake do more magic tricks, leave a comment down below. And most importantly, keep building, keep adapting. SitRep out.